Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to C3Arts Radio. This is your loyal host, Philip Harvey, coming live and direct to you from City College, New York, the college on the hill, and we are the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts. And we come to you every Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, every Tuesday right here, WHCR 90.3 FM, 5 to 6 p.m. in time for your evening commute. Of course, if you're not in your car, we welcome you very much. And of course, you can check us out online if you're not in your car. You can't text and do these things while you're in car, but if you're sitting someplace stable, please check us out online at WHCR.org. It's where you can live stream us, and also on tunein.com, WHCR-FM. And we're here in the studio with my right-hand man, Mr. Winston Brewington. How are you today, Winston?
I'm doing great. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
And there you go.
Never has an imaginary country has so many inhabitants.
I'm moving. I haven't even seen the movie yet. So,
And also we have here Ms. Melody Bond is with us here today. How you doing today, Melody?
I'm good. I know you guys can't see this, but Philip is looking quite sharp tonight.
Oh,
Hey, he's rocking the suit
I
tonight.
know.
Yeah.
GQ in the house.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
wow.
tonight is the PEN American Literary Awards event. If you're in the house, then holla at me. Love, I'm in the house, okay? Check us out.
Fancy.
It is a very great event, and it also honors many of our writers from around the world. Fantastic event. That's PEN American, and that's
really
going
cool.
on tonight. But as the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts, it is our duty to make sure that you know what is happening here on the campus of City College, and also on the stages and galleries, Aaron Davis Hall, and other places where people can congregate for a little cultural insight on the campus of City College. So, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed the programming thus far. We've had a busy winter here at City College Center for the Arts. Now, coming up on February 22nd, we have the screening of the film Other Than Honorable Discharge. And this film is quite telling. It tells a very interesting story about what it takes to be a veteran and what veterans, and not just veterans, people that are still in the military, still on active duty, what they have to go through, some of the sacrifices that they make. It's a very interesting film from a very young person's perspective. And that's
Nice.
going to take place on February 22nd, once again, 12 p.m. in the middle of the day, right, at Aaron Davis Hall. And let me give you this other attribute of this screening is that it's free, ladies and gentlemen. Free. Can't beat it.
What?
RSVP.
How much is it again?
Free. Zero.
Free 99.
$3.99.
So please go to citycollegecenterforthearts.org and make your reservation. Also, coming up, March 1st, you know how we do at City College Center for the Arts. We make sure that we honor all of our legends. And coming up on March 1st, 7:30 p.m., Aaron Davis Hall, we're having our tribute to Harry Belafonte. You think something about
Well,
Harry
now,
Belafonte,
you know, I
Melody,
definitely, I can appreciate all that Mr. Belafonte has done for us.
Yeah.
Easy on the eyes, too. So,
Yeah,
that's going to be nice. Yeah, March 1st.
And he fits in very well with our theme today and what we're talking about today. We're going to be getting into discussing the Negro Ensemble Company. Our friends from there are back. You know, we are very supportive of the Negro Ensemble Company and the huge history that they represent. And Harry Belafonte, of course, has supported that as well as many other things as we have when we think about the black theater experience here in the United States and beyond. And this tribute, always quite fitting. We're hoping that we can give this kind of tribute to Harry Belafonte as much as possible. Now, this particular one is featuring Ty Stevens, Brannis McKenzie, and music director Richard Cummings Jr. Again, that's March 1st, 7:30 p.m., Aaron Davis Hall. And last but not least, I always say this, you have just a few more days, ladies and gentlemen, less than a week to check out Void of Death. It's an exhibition of solo paintings by Julio Mejia, and it is a fantastic show. We had to extend it because so many people wanted to see it, and now we're coming down to the end of it. So, okay, it ends on February 26th, so you have to get there before then.
Just a couple days.
Just a couple of days, ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen, less than a week, next Monday, okay? Aaron Davis Hall Gallery. Of course, that's on 135th Street and Convid Avenue in Aaron Davis Hall. And the gallery is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we're just getting started here, ladies and gentlemen. C3Arts Radio. Always. And you know, I was giving you the times for us, 5 to 6 p.m., but you can always check us out. You can go online. That's C3Arts Radio on Facebook, at C3Arts Radio. That's Twitter and Instagram. And then you can check us out on the City College Center for the Arts.org website, where you can catch up on what you've missed, if by chance you have missed our show, which I hope you haven't. So this is C3Arts Radio. We'll be right back.
All right.
Just give me the sunshine. All I want is some sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. Yeah. All I need is sunshine. When I don't see the sun in the sky early in the morning, I can't wait for the sun to come along and push the clouds away. Now I don't mind when it rains, cause everything needs it. When I'm with my baby in the park, I wish it would quit raining for the sunshine. Let me have the sunshine. I love the sunshine. Just want some sunshine, yeah. Wait a minute, do you remember last winter when the snow took all the fun away? Yeah. It stayed cold, so cold for many days. It took the sun to come along and bring the pretty weather. I don't know about you, but I know I'd like it better if you give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Sunshine, pretty sunshine. Hey, just give me sunshine. Give me sunshine. Just give me sunshine. Hey, wait a minute. Now I don't mind when it rains, cause everything needs it. But sometimes it rains for 4 days or even 10. Take the sun to come along and bring the pretty weather. I don't know about you, but I know I'd like it better if you give me the sunshine. Give me the sunshine. Have the sunshine. Whoa. Well, wait a minute. Aries need the sunshine. Leo need the sunshine. Sagittarius need the sunshine. Oh, flowers need the sunshine. sunshine. All I want is some sunshine.
Helen Martin and Louise Stubbs and Estelle Hemsley and Estelle Evans was they raised the bar every time you get on that stage. It had to be better than the day before. So if a few young people are listening to try to figure out what it was that made us indelible, we had the ability to criticize constructively one another so that we are better every time we get on the stage. That was the society I came into in 1953-54. So if I didn't do something good on Tuesday, I was told about it so I could do the same thing on Wednesday. And it carried all the way through into the blacks. But my experience coming backstage at the age of 17, I don't know who those people were. Josephine Baker. And of course, all those who were people, they really loved what they did, and it caught me. I caught that disease. I caught that thing of constructively criticizing one another. They say, I see you made that moment last night, it wasn't as good as what you did tonight. And I want to make sure you don't make that mistake again. But we were allowed to criticize one another and raise the bar so that when we got from wherever we were, from the blacks to Raisin in the Sun, and go something else and do television.
Lost in the Stars.
Huh? Lost in the Stars.
C3Arts.
Yeah. And Godfrey Cambridge. Yeah.
And his opera.
And his opera.
Oh, that's just...
It was amazing, the experience of raising the bar that we got from one another. So that when we were hired, there was Cicely Tyson and the blacks, and Cicely Tyson, James Earl Jones, Godfrey Cambridge, Abby Lincoln, Maya Angelou, Russell Lee Brown in one production. So every time we get together, we fight about moments that could be better the next time. And it gets catching. So if you young people want to get into this, you two young ladies are starting, raise the bar on a daily basis. Yes. And you represent what we're doing, especially these days. Raise the bar and show them what they're thinking through you.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Always back right here. WHCR 90.3 FM. Of course, this is C3 Arts Radio. And you were just listening to the legendary Lou Gossett Jr. Now, what Lou Gossett Jr. was talking about? Of course, he was talking about raising the bar, right?
Right.
And he was talking about it's up to people to help each other
Right.
raise
Right.
the bar.
Which is what you do weekly.
is that right? Well, thank you, Mother.
constantly
Thank you.
helping.
Thank you. Well, he wasn't only talking about artists working together to raise the bar, but he was also talking about the legacy of the Negro Ensemble Company, which last year celebrated its 50th year anniversary.
50 years.
50 years.
Wow.
50 years is very serious.
Fabulous 50.
That's
Very,
awesome.
very important. Very
That's
important.
awesome.
And Lou Gossett Jr. was giving honor to that legacy, but he was also talking about how they sustained it
Right.
and how they created it. Now, we're talking about going back to 1967. 1967 when the Negro Ensemble Company first started. Right? And here in 2018, they currently have another fantastic production here off Broadway here in New York of one of their signature productions, A Soldier's Play. Now, you know we weren't going to let the Negro Ensemble Company have another production here in the city, and we don't talk about here on C3Arts Radio. That just wasn't going to happen.
Right. Show you right.
So what we did today is we went and we invited Mr. Charles Weldon,
Amen.
the artistic director of the Negro Ensemble Company, and Mr. Gil Turner, who is also a fantastic actor and a comedian who you've seen.
Here we go.
Not only on Def Comedy Jam, but also BET, MTV, UFC, Mr. Gil Turner.
That's Tucker. That's Tucker.
Tucker. I'm saying Gil Turner like Chuck Turner. Like, I don't know what I'm thinking.
It's
Mr.
all right.
Gil Tucker.
It still starts with a T. First name Gil, last name start with a T. Everybody calls me guilty, but we're going to do what we got to do
I
here.
like that. I like that.
I love it. I love it. Hey, man, I want to thank you guys for coming and showing up
Yeah,
and
it's much better.
joining us today.
Thank you, Phil.
We were going through a little bit about the history of the Negro Ensemble Company, and we even played a clip of Lou Gossett Jr. at your celebration last year, the 50th anniversary of the Negro Ensemble Company, and just a testament to longevity, perseverance. That here in 2018 we have another stellar production of A Soldier's Play, and we've been reading a little bit about it. It's a lot of good press here, and well, we also joined to the powwow here. Of course, we couldn't have a good discussion about the Negro Ensemble Company without its fearless leader, Karen Brown. How are you today, Karen?
Hey, I'm better.
Are you better? Okay, good. Thank you for joining the party with us today.
Yeah.
And I salute your bravery, Karen. I know you haven't some health issues, but you're doing fantastic. Thank you for coming, for being here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely. Now, we had a chance. We are kind of getting in. We haven't really gotten into the meat of this because we're just talking about Charles and Gil. And the last time, Charles, when you and Karen came in and we had a chance to kind of powwow, we went a lot into the background and the history of a Negro Ensemble Company. So I won't go back there so much. But what I do want to say is, when did your tenure start as the artistic director?
Oh, my tenure as artistic director in 2004. That's when I was kind of interim artistic director because I'm a Wilsonite, August Wilson, so I was traveling so much that I wasn't I was official, but I wasn't there full time. And so I added up, and I'm going into my 14th season.
14th season, that's right.
So it's somewhere around there.
Right. And it seems like it's been a real renaissance time in the Negro Ensemble Company. Between you, Karen, and you, Charles, you guys are kind of making a dynamic team here.
Yeah, we're the dynamic duo.
Or as we like to call it, good cop, bad cop.
Good cop, bad cop. Okay.
Oh, I hear it all the time.
I can attest to that.
which was the good cop? Which was the bad cop, Gil?
No comment. No comment. I got to get paid. I ain't saying it.
We switch from time to time.
Keep
Smart.
Yeah, we do switch up sometimes.
keep them on their toes. Keep them on their toes. Now, I know last year was such a busy year, as we've been talking about here, it being the 50th year anniversary. How did you set the schedule for this year, Karen and Charles? I think both of you could speak to this. How did you, what was the decision making? Has this been long in the plan to go into the anniversary season and then come back with one of the signature productions of NEC, as we like to call it?
Well, A Soldier's Play was actually going to be the last play of the retrospect season.
Okay.
But it took off. And of course we hadn't scheduled it for too long, so the actors didn't get to really get into the characters, and I think it was only like 2 weeks. It was a showcase basically.
Right.
And so we wanted to, it was like people were standing four abreast halfway down the block, so we said, well, let's see if we can put it back up.
Yes.
And so between Karen and I, and we just tried to find the place to put it back up, because our home theater, which is Theater 80, gives us free space, but we have to work around them to a certain degree, so we had to find another place if we wanted to put it back up while it was still hot.
Right.
And so that's where we are now.
The Gene Frankel Theater.
The Gene Frankel Theater, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
let me tell you a little bit about how the 50th anniversary season came about. It was actually a conversation that I had with Bill J, because Bill J was one of the original ensemble company members, and he was at the office one day, and I was asking him, we had some archival pictures on the wall, and I was asking him about the plays that I didn't know about. And he was telling me about a couple of the shows that I had never heard before by playwrights that I knew. And so what happened was I spent 2 years chasing down Rosalie Pritchett and Perry's Mission before we could even get the rights. We went through Emory University. We found Judy Ann Mason, who wrote Daughters of the Mock. We found her daughter, because Judy Ann has passed away. So it was quite a trek. It took almost 2 years to get the rights to produce Rosalie Pritchett, Perry's Mission, and also Daughters of the Mock. So it was really quite a trek. And what we really wanted to do was, there were a couple of things. One, you cannot do a 50th anniversary celebration without Day of Absence, because Day of Absence is the piece that started it all. Right. You also cannot do a 50th anniversary celebration of the Negro Ensemble Company without a Soldier's Play, right? Because more than likely, those are the two best-known plays of the NEC canon. And what we also wanted to do was to bring some light to some other works that people did not know as well, but are absolutely amazing pieces. And those became Rosalie Pritchett, the Perry's Mission, and Daughters of the Mock. So, it took a lot of thought, and we had the bookends. We had Day of Absence, we had Soldier's Play, and it was a lot of research, a lot of reading, and a lot of discovery. So that's how the 50th anniversary season came about. We were not really expecting to do a remount, like Charles said. We were not expecting a remount of the Soldier's Play. However, we have some amazing talented actors,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they're so modest.
Well, we got one sitting with us right here. Mr. Gil Tucker, he's sitting right here with us. Another
You
amazing
know,
talent.
we have an amazingly talented cast, and they develop such a wonderful camaraderie that we really felt that we wanted to further this piece and see what it could do and how much it could grow.
Yeah, you know, I think people don't get the sense, they don't understand that the NEC has done over 200 original plays.
No doubt.
Yeah.
More than.
Yeah, more than.
And I was
more
in
than.
most of them. No. A lot of them. Yeah.
Over 4,000 people on stage, behind the stage, behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You really have to understand what that 50 years, what that 50 year entails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the cast, with this cast, it's a whole new crew of new people, and that's what's fun about it.
Oh,
you know,
beautiful.
I see.
that's the fun part of it.
I want to think. So, A Soldier's Play, it opens 1981, right?
Yes.
And here we are, 2018. What do you see the play as being as poignant, as important? I mean, important is probably not the right word, but as searing, as
Relevant.
getting relevant. That's what I'm looking for.
It is just as relevant simply because of the situation that we're living in under our new leader.
Right.
The new regime.
Their lack of, or
Their leader.
The new guy.
that guy, yeah.
And it's just really relevant. You know, I remember back, I was out in California doing a film when I got the call from Adolph Caesar, and Adolph, I answered the phone, he said, "We got one." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "We got one." Adolph's got that voice. Bill's got that voice.
We got one.
There it is. That sounds just like him. In fact, in rehearsal, sometimes I make mistakes and call him Adolph.
Yeah, is that right?
I said, I'm sorry. He said, "That's all right. He's in the room. His spirit is in the room."
Spirit was in the room.
Spirits of the room.
Yeah, so anyway, it just jumped off, and so it was supposed to be, like Karen said.
I see.
And it is relevant. It is very relevant today.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
And from my perspective, I am a beneficiary of the 60s. So I am that group that came in right after all of the upheaval and all of that, where things were not exactly, of course, we have not achieved full inclusion. I don't know when that's going to happen. But there was still a very strong sense of protest and also a strong demand for rights and inclusion and all of that. And one of the things that strikes me is how similar and the parallels between that period between 1961 and 1981. There are a lot of similarities that we are dealing with now. I think this play and every play that we have done is not as relevant. It's more resonant right now. It is more resonant because we are in a situation where we're looking at having taken 10 steps ahead and 5 steps back. And I'm not sure if it's not 10 steps ahead and 8 steps back. So I believe that there's a lot of relevance in terms of the 50th celebration in 2018.
Absolutely. Gil, I wanna get to you here. You play Sergeant Waters.
Yes, the most hated character in the
The
play.
most hated character, but really one of the most interesting and intricate characters probably written. Charles Fuller did a job on writing this character and on how
He was very complex. The character was very complex because, on one hand, if you listen to what he says, he's ahead of the game. He's looking for, like, as a matter of fact, he even says, that we need to challenge this man in his arena, use his weapons. We need lawyers, doctors, senators, generals, and in his eyes, when he sees somebody that back then they would call it cooning or you know that
They still
type
call
thing.
it cooning too.
Yeah. You know, he wanted to basically get those people away from the relevance of what was going forward, because he kept saying that this war is going to change things, that black people are going to come up after this war.
Yeah.
You know, so that was his point of view, but he just went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because his whole thing was, well, if I see somebody that I figure is a coon in blackface, I'm gonna do my best to find a way to lock him up.
Yeah.
You know, and in his case, that's the way he moved forward.
Right.
Because he felt like they were bringing it down the race.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And at the time, he didn't look at it. He was not cooning. He was living in that. He was living in that time.
In his truth, yeah.
He was serious.
He was looking at a lot of Southern blacks
Yeah.
as, you know, blackface characters, as opposed to a lot of people that he felt from the North, where he came from, which basically were more fighting for their rights up north than they were down south.
Yeah.
You know, and he felt like by you kissing up to the other race, that in the long run you're gonna bring us down.
Right.
And if I see you doing that, he felt like if I see you doing that, I'm gonna get you out of the way.
Right.
And I'm basically gonna try and move up these other officers. So, you know, he was really looking forward to the main character in the piece, which is a Davenport, who was a black lawyer and a captain, which most black men had never seen at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Most white men, no
Oh,
white man.
Yeah.
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 The one, I think probably the most interesting dynamic for me in the piece is the relationship between Waters and Peterson. Waters liked Peterson.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that is a very interesting dynamic. It is as if Waters, in some ways, saw the future, and in some ways feared the future. So it is quite an interesting psychological dynamic that exists in that play. It's a brilliant piece as far as I'm concerned.
And for the people
And
that
we
saw
have-
the movie,
Sergeant Waters is played brilliantly
that was played
by
by Denzel
funny man Gilkey.
Peterson.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I definitely saw the movie. That
Well,
makes
when I
sense.
casted it, when I cast this particular production, I casted it with original characters in mind.
Right.
Love it.
And I didn't want people to act like them. And this is a great little short story here. On social media these days, I got this email on, what's that, LinkedIn, I think. And it said, he told me his name. He says, I live in Florida and I'm coming to audition for you. And I let it say, yeah, right. And then I'm in the auditions and I saw close
he
to
pops up,
400
huh?
people, and this guy comes in, and when I saw him, I said, he reminds me of Adolf, So then he comes and he says hi, he introduced himself, and he goes, I'm the guy that told you I was coming from Florida. I was like, you're kidding. He came up from Florida.
Wow. Wow.
Isn't
That's
that amazing?
fantastic,
And
yeah.
did a great job. When he read, I was like, whoa.
Done. You knew it was him, huh?
The gods are smiling. The gods are smiling.
That's fantastic. So, Gil, you said something very interesting there too. You talked about really the Double V campaign that was going on at the time. Victory over Jim Crow at home. Victory over fascism abroad. And very curious that you would say, because you're putting him in a light as someone who saw himself as a kind of a warrior for his race.
Yeah, an advocate, basically.
Yeah. And even more so because he was going to go through drastic measures to kind of clean it out there.
What was crazy was that, he felt really good about what he was doing until, if you watch the play, in the middle of the play, it backfires on him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't expect certain things to happen the way they happened. And after that was when he kind of took his slide downhill. And that takes us to the point where we open up, so to speak, as well as when we close. So it's like a full circle.
And it shows that he was human.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was human.
Yes,
it
'cause
hurt him.
Yeah, you could see. I tried to find that, that little segue in there where I could show that it wasn't all hate and it wasn't all malicious, and he didn't really expect people to get hurt that way. But when he did see people get hurt that way, it hurt him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like, because he could have easily just, oh, well, let's, kept it moving, and, but it wasn't like that. He was really hurt.
Yeah. Wow. Now, I know this is a great cast. There are so many people in it. Charles, who are some of the other people that you cast in this production?
Oh, I got to remember people's names. I say half the cast is from my acting class. Chaz, let me read the names of the characters in this play. We got Horace Glasper.
Horace Glasper, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, of course, Gil Tucker, Derek Dean. Who else?
Chaz
Jimmy.
Rubin.
Yeah, Chaz Rubin, who plays Davenport.
Jay Ward.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Finish it out.
Aaron Lloyd.
Jimmy Gary.
Aaron
Brock Hinkle.
Sparks.
Aaron, what's Aaron's
Sparks.
Oh, Aaron Sparks.
Aaron Sparks.
Aaron
We got two
Sparks.
Aarons.
Brock Hinkle.
Oh, I got it right here.
Fulton
And
C.
P.J. Mack.
Fulton C. Hodges.
Yeah,
And Fulton C. Hodges.
Can't
Plays
forget
Wilkie.
Fulton.
Plays Wilkie brilliantly.
Yeah, he
And
played.
did we say Adrian Washington?
Adrian Washington, who plays
He
the
plays
same
Peterson.
role that Denzel
Peterson.
Washington played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Oh,
he
wow.
brings a whole nother level of crazy to that role.
Yes,
He's a
he does.
beast. He's a
Yeah,
beast.
is that right?
Well, Denzel was crazy too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good.
The Peabody glasses. I mean,
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think he wore those in the play, in the music production, didn't he?
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
little
little
round
round glasses,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think so.
And you mentioned over 400 auditions?
400 people that I saw. About 400 people.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
Wow.
You know.
No, we cut it off at 400.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Because some people that came in and was just not right.
You
So
saw it.
but I was magnanimous and I got had to do a lot of thank you.
You had to get it right, though. I had to get it right.
Yeah, but I tell you, by the luck of the draw, I put a cast together that was just amazing, and they gelled.
And the
they
chemistry,
just gelled.
yeah,
The chemistry just gelled, and it was just amazing. I just sat back and let them go, And we had Reggie.
Reggie Wilson.
Reggie Wilson, and Reggie was my assistant director, who was also a Marine. And Reggie would drill these guys.
Miniature
he
boot
would
camp.
drill
Boot camp.
I'm serious.
Have you been working with Reggie for a while now?
Well, it was about a year.
About a year, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
about a year. And they bring army.
Yeah.
These guys bring army. There's
Discipline.
I think that might be one of the
We
things.
actually have two ex-military in the cast. Adrian Washington is also
Yeah,
ex-military.
Adrian.
So we had two ex-military actors in the cast, but Reggie was the drill sergeant from hell.
I think that's what really set, beside what we do acting-wise, I think that's another thing that set us apart from any production I've seen of this show, because we do the military moves with precision, the way they would be done if we were actually in the military, showing respect for like the respect that they show for the captain and this black captain that they've never seen before, so it's that type thing. So we had fun with it. We were in pain, but we had fun with it.
It looks like it authenticates it. It
Yes.
made it very authentic. Nice.
Because I really don't remember a military person coming in and working with us when I did it at the Mark Taper Forum out there with the cast.
Well, we actually had one of the actors from the original company who came to the first preview and said, we had nothing like this.
Wow.
I don't
Which
remember.
was quite a compliment.
What was that? Peter Friedman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Peter who played Captain
Yep.
Taylor.
Yeah, well, that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
when Denzel and Adolph and Larry Riley and Carter Smith came Doug pulled him out of the New York cast, and since I was in Los Angeles, Robert Hooks and I came into the cast.
Robert Hooks played Davenport.
And Robert Hooks played Davenport.
Is that right?
And the
Okay.
guy playing Davenport, Chaz, kind of resembles
A little bit.
with the mustache and stuff and the same complexion. He kind of reminds me of Robert Hooks.
Very well spoken.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I just love the way that Negro Ensemble Company. The very idea, you had to cut it to 400 people, as Melody was at. It's amazing that 50 years later, you are still. I mean, last time we were all talking here, I think we said this before you came on, Karen. We talked about a lot of the history of the Negro Ensemble Company. But when you think about that kind of initial group that came on after '67, and now you see history repeating itself. Now you see history
to a large
repeating
degree.
Yeah,
To a large degree, I remember I came into the Negro Ensemble Company the second season. I joined. I auditioned and got a job. It was the early 1970s. So, and Estero was still there. Roxy was still there. And of course, almost everybody was still there. And they taught me the business, you know. So it was a family.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that's where we would like to go with it now.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
Although it's a whole other thing with
Right.
today is
Social
another
media
thing with
and
social
everything else.
media and
Yeah.
stuff. you know.
Yeah.
Well, I think so, Charles. I think that we should not attempt to reinvent this wheel.
No, not at all.
I think that the way the company came into being is the way the company should be. It was a family. It was, and particularly in this political climate that we're in, we really need each other in order to survive and to progress. That's what really has to happen. And I think that the Negro Ensemble Company is in a great position to usher in a new wave of training and presenting emerging, budding, and amazing talent from our particular voice. That's what I think. And that's our goal.
Yeah.
Well, with 400 plus people trying to get in this play.
A lot of them are coming to see it. A lot of them come to see
That's
it.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
In this particular production, do you kind of stick with some of the accents of the play from its early inception, the kind of the way the characters interact kind of with the audience, giving the narrative or speaking over with the narrative?
I'm a stickler about this. I don't want them to act like the homeboys. You know, it's 1944.
Got it.
And it's very important for them not to be, you know, too much modern,
Street,
Yeah.
too street.
Yeah.
too street, because I'm sure it was not like that. Of course, you know, it was not like that in those days.
And it's all in the script.
Right.
You know, it's if you follow the way if you speak the way it's written, it's almost like poetry. It's in the script for you. And you know, Charles was a stickler about that. Like every now and then somebody would ad lib something, and we go, that's modern. They wouldn't say that then. Now we need you to just, you know, if you are gonna ad lib something quick, make sure it's from that period.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
you know, one of the things I think is that when you have genius, don't try to improve on it.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
that's pretty good advice there, right?
Yeah.
that's pretty good advice.
this was a Pulitzer Prize winner. You ain't gotta. You don't have to
Right.
try and reinvent it. You know, you just
Exactly.
roll
flow
with it the way it is.
Exactly.
Well, let's think about that. 1982 was the Pulitzer Prize, Best American Play, New York Critics,
Yeah.
and Eggers
Yeah.
Awards.
Yeah,
I mean,
Drama
Right.
Award.
Drama Awards.
Mike dropped the moment.
and when they got to the movie, they were nominated for Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Which was pretty much unheard of as far as, well, you had like one or two blacks that got nominated and won,
Exactly.
but very rarely were they even nominated. So that just tells
Yeah.
you the caliber of actors that they used.
You know what I think? And I don't know if this is. I don't think this might be a first. when I guess when Charlie realized that we were doing a soldier's play, and people do a soldier's play all over the country periodically. We opened the mail one day, and Charlie had sent us a check.
I did it. Oh, yeah.
He donated, you know. It's
Okay,
like, oh, wow,
fantastic.
that was really
That's
cool, you
much,
know.
yeah.
It was like, thank you, man, for doing the show, you know.
Oh, man.
And Karen sat there and was like, little tears coming my eyes.
Right, right. Well, I probably would have framed that, like blown it
Yeah,
up.
well, we
Took a
couldn't
cup-
frame
took
it.
a-
We-
Take a copy of it.
Had to cash it.
Right,
Put it in
right.
the
Cash
bank.
it. Yeah, get the money. Take a picture
But
of it.
I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool, because I remember standing in the theater, and I won't name the theater and the cast, but I remember standing in the back at opening night with Soldiers Play, and this is recent, and I was standing next to Charlie, and they were up there, and I thought they were like gangbangers up there. You know, they were not in 1944.
Right,
you know.
right.
And Charlie had his head down, and it was not
It's so
it was
beautiful.
not good.
to
Yeah.
Well,
respect.
And I think that is the hallmark of the company. We do art. We don't do commercialism. We do art. So, you know, when you have that kind of talented script and you couple it with an amazing director and an extraordinarily talented cast, that is all you need.
Yeah, that's a good recipe right there.
No
That's a
doubt.
good recipe.
No doubt.
All you need.
Now, in going back to Fuller's check here, we also want to talk about another fundraiser for for the NEC, and this is going to take place on Tuesday, February 27th, 9 p.m. right here in Harlem at Paris Blues.
Paris Blues.
Paris Blues.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Gil Tucker is going to be the
The headliner.
the headliner and the
Horace is
centerpiece
gonna
of
be
this
the
fundraiser.
MC.
Horace Glasper is going to be the MC. Could you tell us a little bit about the fundraiser there?
Well, basically, we're trying to do whatever we can do to help NEC continue to try and keep this thing moving forward.
Absolutely.
And we were, as a matter of fact, we were discussing trying to figure out a place to do it. And then Charles just finished shooting a movie
Okay.
at
Charles.
Paris Blues.
Yeah, we have
I
to talk about
played
that.
the owner.
Yeah, I know they're on the
short
Paris
film.
Blues. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I had just worked there, and I got to know him, you know, and I had to dress like him and stuff. You know?
Yeah, he's got a
So
lot
I
of
said,
flavor.
well,
He's got a
let
lot
me
of
talk.
flavor.
Let me talk to him, you know, and he was like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, he liked that. Huh?
Yeah.
So roundabout
To
way,
have
we-
Charles Weldon play you know, that doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
I
so,
know,
the-
right?
so we basically looking out for one another.
There you
Charles worked there and thought it might be a good idea for us to do the fundraiser there because we were looking all over the place. And then Charles said, well, why not do it at Paris Blues? So I think we should have a lot of fun. Horace is just a wild man.
Yeah, Horace is a wild man.
He plays Henson in the play, and what's crazy is that
Which was Samuel L's role in the original
I
play.
was just
Very
gonna say
cool.
that.
Okay.
So you know what kind of flavor he brings,
Yeah.
and he's done numerous TV appearances as well. And me, I was with a comedy team for over 30 years, and we did Atlantic City and Las Vegas and Def Jam and the Apollo and all of that. So we thought it might be a good idea to do comedy as a fundraiser.
Yeah, comedy is always a good choice.
So we're gonna have a
Always
lot
good
of fun that
choice.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot
Is
of
that
fun
the 27th? That's
27th.
It's coming up.
Yeah, we don't want to leave out. We don't want to leave out Derek Dean.
Oh yeah, we mentioned Derek.
Yeah.
Derek plays the really mean white guy in the play.
He
Does
plays,
he? Okay.
he plays the Carter Smith role, the racist.
Right.
Wow.
But he's so, you know what's funny is he plays that role to a T. And to know him, he's so opposite of that.
Right.
And that's what's fun about living in the moment as an actor.
Yeah.
You get an opportunity. I'm a fool when you meet me normally. I'm telling jokes, I'm doing this, I'm always laughing. But to get an opportunity to step on stage and reinvent yourself, so to speak, and step into the the footsteps of another character and just be in that moment at that time. And people hate me. My daughter came to see the play. She said she was sitting behind this woman, and one of the characters had punched my character, and she said the woman was like, good, hit him again. she said, that's my father. Then she said, I thought about it. She said, Dad, I thought about it. I said, yeah, I don't like him right now either. Hit him again. So it's just that kind
That's a
of
sign
feeling.
of a
We're having
great-
fun with it.
Great actor, yes.
And we've actually stepped it up.
Job.
We've actually stepped it up because now we're pretty much starting off where we left off. It took us a day or two to find that rhythm, but now, we actually had somebody that came in from the Adelcos and said, well, I see you guys stepped it up.
Nice.
So that says a lot to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's run this down and make sure everyone out there understands what's going on here. So, until March 3rd, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Until March 3rd.
March 4th.
March 4th. It's March 4th. Okay,
Right.
until March 4th at the Gene Frankel Theater. Okay, we have a Soldier's Play. It is fantastic. I hope that you have understood that from listening to Ms. Karen Brown, Mr. Charles Weldon, Mr. Gil Tucker. And if you want more information, you can go to, let's make sure I have the right.
Negro Ensemble Company.
NECINC.org, right? NECINC.org. And also, you can go to the Gene Frankel Theater, get a little more information there. Also, we here at C3Arts Radio, we will be pushing it. So you can check us out too at C3Arts Radio, Twitter, Instagram, C3Arts Radio on Facebook. Also, Tuesday, February 27th, 9 p.m. at Paris Blues.
Paris Blues in Harlem.
I
In
know,
Harlem.
right?
That's 121st and Adam Clayton Powell.
Can you take the A train there?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
you
There
take
you
that
go.
train.
Take the A train.
Yeah, get off at the 125th and walk back down.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's right. It's a nice stroll too, and I don't mean nice as in long. I mean nice as in scenic.
Visual, yeah. Pretty solid.
So that's 121st Adam Clay Powell, 7th Avenue to the old Harlem heads, and come out and support. Okay, come out and support, and then buy a ticket. Go see the play. Fantastic production. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today.
It's great, man.
Thank
It's
you.
great. It's good
Thank
to be
you.
back.
Absolutely,
Thank you, Phil.
absolutely, no doubt, and we're looking forward. We got a little hand claps here.
That's right.
And we're always looking forward to the next production. Please, once again, I want to give you the website here. Make sure that you keep up what's going on at the Negro Ensemble Company. It's NECINC, as in NEC Incorporated, NECINC.org, okay? So,
Yep.
all right, ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to go to a quick
All
song.
right.
We'll be right back. C3 Arts Radio.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Take it easy, my brother Charlie. Take it easy, meu irmão de cor. Take it easy, my brother Charlie. Take it easy, meu irmão de cor. Pois a rosa é uma flor, a rosa é uma cor, a rosa é um nome de mulher. Rosa é a flor da simpatia, a flor escolhida no dia do primeiro encontro do nosso dia com a vida querida, com a vida mais garrida. Take it easy, Charlie. Take it easy, my brother Charlie. Take it easy, meu irmão de cor. Take it easy, my brother Charlie. Take it easy, meu irmão de cor. Depois que o primeiro homem maravilhosamente pisou na lua, eu me senti com direitos, com princípios e dignidade de me libertar. Por isso, sem preconceito, eu canto a fantasia, eu canto o amor, eu canto a alegria, eu canto a fé, eu canto a paz, eu canto a sugestão, eu canto na madrugada. Take it easy, my brother Charlie, pois eu canto até a minha amada, esperada, desejada, adorada. Take it easy, my brother Charlie. Take it easy, meu irmão de cor. Take it
efeito, mas olha que sol bonito, Charles. Ele queria my boy. He queria my friend.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Always back. Right here, WACR 90.3 FM. Of course, this is C3Arts Radio. Every Tuesday right here, 5 to 6 p.m. Also, check us out online, wacr.org. TuneIn.com, WACR-FM, and check us out online at C3Arts Radio, Instagram and Twitter, C3Arts Radio, Facebook, and also the most beautiful website in the world, C3ArtsRadio.com. Yeah.
Aw, that's so sweet. Beautiful.
Is that beautiful? Is that
Yeah,
beautiful?
yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, before we get out of here, we always have to make sure we keep having Melanie on, and we haven't given you the right information to go to. If you are looking for the really the higher post interior design, not only interior design and many other things that come with it. Melanie, how do people get in contact with you?
Well,
and
Philip,
check out
you
what you're up to?
can go to any of my social media, Melody Vaughn Inc. That's Melody Vaughn Inc. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, you know, or my website, which is Melody Vaughn Interiors.
Okay.
And
you
you know,
go.
you can call me.
You can call
Go
you
through
too.
the website first.
It's a little old
then
school.
we can
Karen's about to
yeah,
give me
you
a phone
know,
number. I was like, I don't know.
yeah.
give us
Let's
the
do some
website.
social media stuff first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm an interior designer, lifestyle consultant, and there's some other things coming down the pipe with Phil and I are playing around. So
All right.
we'll see how this thing goes.
All right, sounds good.
Much
Sounds
respect.
good. We want to give a special thanks and a shout out to, once again, Karen Brown, Charles
Karen.
Weldon, Mr. Gil Tucker, and the new production of A Soldier's Play.
Yeah.
Since 1981, ladies and gentlemen, this play is back home where it should be. So it's the
Nice.
reboot of A Soldier's Play. It is showing at the Gene Frankel Theater, 24 Bond Street. Please go to genefrankeltheater.com for more information. And we are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye now.